This is the beginning of a multi-part series that follows the 7 classical stages of inner alchemy: calcination, dissolution, separation, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, and coagulation. These are not just abstract ideas. They are living processes, active in the psyche of anyone called to a deeper purpose. Each stage will be explored in its own dedicated episode every week right here on Alchemy Transformation. Have you ever felt like your entire life was unraveling at once? Like everything you once identified with, your job, your relationships, your financial security, was suddenly stripped away? What if I told you that this unraveling is not the end, but the very beginning of something greater? Welcome to Breaking Shadows, a transformational video series on the stages of psychological alchemy, as told by the soul. In this first episode, we begin with calcination, the burning ground of ego death, and the initiation into true selfhood. This installment will explore what calcination really means, why it often appears through suffering and loss, and how to recognize when you are inside this crucible. We will also look at what you can do while enduring this stage, how to hold the fire without being consumed by it, and how to navigate the fear, grief, and identity collapse that often comes with it. We will conclude by looking at what lies on the other side of this trial. When the kindle settles, what is left? Who are you once the ego is no longer in control? Calcination is the stage where the ego is metaphorically set on fire. It marks the death of who you thought you were. This is not a gentle process. It often arrives disguised as devastation. You might lose your job and with it, your sense of worth. You might be betrayed by someone you trusted deeply, shattering the illusion of emotional safety. A financial collapse might strip you of your comfort, your home, or your social identity. Even a serious illness can be a catalyst, forcing you to reevaluate what actually matters. The external events may vary, but the impact is the same: the mask burns, and the truth starts to glow beneath the wreckage. To the untrained mind, calcination looks like failure. But to the alchemist of the psyche, it is a sacred beginning. What is being burned away are the lies you believed about yourself, your need for control, your identity as defined by productivity, your attachment to being liked, praised, or needed. This is the stage where the false self disintegrates. It is brutal, often humiliating, and nearly always lonely. But within this fire is the opportunity to begin again. Not from a place of survival, but from a place of clarity and authenticity. If you are in the midst of crisis, chaos, or collapse, know that you are not broken. You are being broken open. The path ahead may not be easy, but it is sacred. Watch this video until the end, subscribe for the rest of the series, and join a community of others walking this path of inner transformation. Your shadows are not your enemy. They are your teachers. Let the fire do its work. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who pioneered analytical psychology, was among the first modern thinkers to reinterpret ancient alchemy as a psychological process. Jung believed that the strange, cryptic symbols of medieval alchemists were not primitive nonsense, but profound metaphors for the transformation of the soul. For him, alchemy described a symbolic process of individuation, a journey towards psychological wholeness. Calcination, he taught, was the first step. It represented the burning away of the ego, the confrontation with suffering, and the collapse of unconscious identifications. It is where the shadow begins to surface, and the mask begins to melt. Jung did not romanticize this process. He knew it would be painful, but he also believed it was necessary. Only by passing through this fire can we begin to uncover the gold hidden within. Tune in next week for Breaking Shadows, Part 2, Dissolution, where we will explore what happens when the structures of belief, identity, and meaning begin to melt away. In that episode, we'll dive into the emotional and spiritual breakdown that often follows calcination, and how surrendering to the unknown can become a gateway to deeper truth. If this message resonated with you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more soul transformative content. Also, check out the video description for additional tools and resources to help you on your soul awakening journey. Your journey through the shadows is not one of isolation, but of initiation. Stay grounded, stay resilient, and until we meet again in the next sacred space, trust the process, and let the alchemy unfold.